and growth. That's creating additional revenue without increasing property tax rates. With this budget, we are able to invest in better services for residents and in our city workforce to forge a stronger and more equitable Syracuse. We will increase funding for schools, put more police officers on our streets, build healthier neighborhood business corridors, and introduce more parks programs for children, adults, and seniors. We will also invest in sanitation pickup citywide and expand our crackdown on nuisance properties. I'll provide more about these and other proposed investments shortly. First, some updates on the city's overall fiscal condition. Working together, we've made tremendous progress on the path to fiscal sustainability for city government. This budget stands on that progress. Syracuse does, however, continue to face a structural deficit. Our revenues now and looking ahead are still below expenses. Fortunately, there are several very positive trends that can help to carry us to long-term sustainability, a status I know that we can achieve. I'll draw your attention to the board going up on the other side of the chambers. Let's start with sales tax. The city's largest revenue source has increased by more than 10% the past 2 fiscal years. In 2023, sales tax is budgeted to grow by less than the historic average of 2.5%. As a result, sales tax is budgeted to be over $112 million, while it was just $85.4 million in 2020. Second, there's more evidence that we are growing our way toward prosperity. The taxable assessed value of property increased by 3.1% last year, almost 4 times the previous growth. The budget is also supported by a $1.5 million services agreement payment to the city by Syracuse University, a $500,000 increase in revenue compared to the prior budget year. Under terms of the new agreement reached in 2021, the payment will go up an additional $250,000 in the next 2 budget years. That's on top of the $500,000 payment SU already makes to the city to fund UNSAC, or the University Neighborhood Services Agreement Advisory Council. And third, our fund balance, which was predicted to be gone by now when we all first started working together, is projected to exceed $100 million at the close of the current fiscal year. We have a solid platform, a bridge to get Syracuse to fiscal sustainability. Together, we must again make smart decisions to get us there. The fiscal year 2023 budget totals $294 million. For the 3rd straight year, it proposes no increase in the property tax rate. There is an increase in charges for our water system of around $9 per quarter for residential customers. And for the new municipal sidewalk maintenance program, residential customers will pay $20 this year. Commercial customers will experience higher amounts for water and sidewalks. The pandemic continues to show us the importance of protecting our critical infrastructure. The City Department of Water delivers vital services that keep us healthy and supports our economy 24 hours a day. We must invest in our water system. Making Syracuse more walkable for all our residents not only protects our health, but it also makes getting to work, school, the store, our parks, and everyone else more accessible. The 2023 budget accommodates the full cost of updated labor agreements with all of our unions, including those representing the city's biggest departments, police, fire, and DPW. Department operating expenses will go up 12.9%. I'm proud to say about 3/4 of that increase goes to our workforce for well-earned raises, promotions, and strategic new hires. The investments enable major improvements in services and programs for city residents. This budget will forge a stronger and more equitable Syracuse. Let me tell you more about what that means. First, for our children, the Syracuse City School District will receive a nearly $68 million from the school tax levy, an increase of more than $1 million. To stem crime and violence, the Syracuse Police Department will continue to transition more administrative functions to civilian positions to free up more police officers to be on the streets in patrol and to help reduce crime. The budget provides funding to complete the conversion of 17 positions currently filled by sworn officers to civilian staff. The budget also funds expanded police diversionary response strategies to involve qualified mental health professionals and supports community violence intervention programs. To save lives, the Syracuse Fire Department will increase on-duty professional firefighter staffing for the first time in nearly 50 years. The department will add an around-the-clock firefighter to the squad company located at Station 1 in downtown Syracuse. The squad company provides life-saving responses citywide to all structure fires and the highest priority medical calls. For our neighborhoods, the Department of Neighborhood and Business Development will bring on a dedicated business corridor manager to focus on maintenance and growth of commercial business districts in neighborhoods around the city. To reduce lead poisoning, the Division of Code Enforcement will fully implement the city lead abatement and enforcement ordinance, allowing city inspectors to conduct more lead inspections in rental properties requiring abatement by landlords. The budget funds staffing for a lead paint program coordinator and office manager who will work with code enforcement inspectors to conduct and process inspections. It also includes funds for dust wipe sample kits and lab testing. For healthier seniors, adults, and children, the Department of Parks and Recreation and Youth Programs will implement the new Health and Wellness, Family Recreation, and Therapeutic Recreation Bureaus. The department will expand its schedule of events and programming for city residents, including activities such as kayak rentals, ice bicycles, and outdoor movies. For better quality of life, the budget increases funding for the law department to address concerns impacting quality of life, such as nuisance abatement actions, property seizures, code enforcement, zoning, and public safety. The investments will increase city efforts to pursue compliance through legal action and help improve timeliness of city response to neighborhood issues. To make a cleaner Syracuse, DPW will increase staffing for trash, recycling, and litter pickup. DPW will add a new assistant supervisor for sanitation and 2 new members of the environmental services crew dedicated to litter collection. The department also expects to receive 10 new sanitation trucks before the end of 2022. We will begin the implementation of uniform trash and recycling carts citywide and will continue to prepare for the introduction of semi-automated trash collection. For smoother roads citywide, the Department of Public Works will reconstruct at least 24 miles of city streets. Remember, the year before we all started working together, that number was about 4 miles. We'll also resurface about 20 miles of streets without curbing. To achieve what is possible on Interstate 81, the city will hire an I-81 city project director to provide planning and oversight for city assets and infrastructure and ensure the interests of city residents are protected during the massive infrastructure project. The budget also funds retaining a national urban master planning firm working for the city to plan and design neighborhood opportunities not addressed by the state or federal government. Of course, this budget will continue to fund the transformational work going on for the Syracuse Surge, our strategy for inclusive growth in the new economy, and the Resurgent Neighborhoods Initiative to build quality, affordable housing and thriving neighborhoods citywide. These priorities will create a stronger Syracuse that can cross the bridge to fiscal sustainability. So will this next proposal. We will use $15.2 million of our fund balance in the upcoming budget. Nearly half of that, however, will not be spent. It will go to a new $7 million revolving capital fund for city government to reduce future costs to taxpayers. When the city needs to provide upfront funding for projects, it will access the funds, which will then be replenished when the state or federal government reimburses the city. The fund will reduce the need for city government to pay for external sources of short-term financing and will save in excess of $70,000 annually. As it was intended, American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, pandemic relief, has allowed the city to withstand the pandemic without devastating layoffs and cuts in city services. Working with the council, we have authorized more than $72 million in ARPA funds to help our residents and city government recover. In this budget, we reduce our reliance on ARPA funding by 25%. ARPA is a short-term solution to the challenges facing Syracuse and other U.S. cities. Our biggest long-term challenge is revenue, which is finally starting to rise, but not fast enough to make up for decades of near stagnant growth. Increasing revenue is the next major step on our path to fiscal sustainability. After consultation with Council Finance Chair Green, I am pleased to announce today the upcoming appointment of a Revenue Enhancement Working Group. This new advisory body to the administration and council will be charged with identifying short and long-term sources of funding to reduce the gap between the city's revenue and its expenses while preserving the city's fund balance. Working together, I'm confident we can find sustainable sources of revenue that assure the continued resurgence of Syracuse. The fiscal year 2023 budget presents a window of opportunity for us to make long overdue investments and improvements in city services. We will make the city stronger and more attractive, which will drive greater investment to power a growing city that embraces diversity and creates opportunity for all. I want to thank Budget Director Tim Rudd, Commissioner of Finance Brad O'Connor, Chief Administrative Officer Frank Oliva, and their teams for their work on the fiscal year 2023 budget. I also want to acknowledge all of our department heads and their staffs for their contributions to this plan. Lastly, I want to express my appreciation to all the members of the council for the many hours you will put in over the coming weeks to review the budget and participate in public hearings. I encourage our constituents to engage in the process to ensure that your voices are heard. Councilors, thank you again for this opportunity to speak with you. I look forward to working together in the weeks ahead to adopt the final budget. That's all. See you next year.
Next year before that.